Hey, good morning everyone. This is Justin with the Weather Center of Manitoba, coming to you from Brandon, Manitoba with, once again, our daily weather update here. The day is January 10th, 2025, and I can't believe we're already 10 days into the new year, but here we are. And the first thing I'm going to do is show you guys our current radar shot, our current radar picture, and I'm just going to show you what's happening on the Woodlands radar and the southeastern portion of the province, because Western Manitoba is fairly quiet this morning. But you can see from the Woodlands radar that we still have some snow flurries affecting portions of the southern part of Lake Manitoba, and then south towards Portage, and then Elm Creek, and also tracking along the Trans-Canada Highway toward Eli, and then into Winnipeg as well. And then that also extends a little further southeast of the city toward Lorette, St. Anne, Bloomnorth, and even Steinbach may be having the occasional flurry this morning. But the winds are still fairly gusty across the River Valley this morning, gusting 20 to 30 k out of the northwest. So with any of these flurries, and if you do get into a patch of maybe some moderate snowfall, it could be causing some issues on the roads, but hopefully the conditions are better than they were last night, because I drove from Winnipeg back to Brandon last night, and it was really rough, honestly, between Winnipeg and Portage, and then also patches around Austin and Carberry, Manitoba. But thankfully we made it home safe. Thank you all for your thoughts and prayers and just your well wishes for Rachel and I. We made it home safe, and yeah, so thank you so much for that. So let's get into the meat of this video this morning, and we'll show you the Mesonet portal here once again, showing our current temperatures across southern Manitoba. And the story is much cooler temperatures. About 24 hours ago, we had locations across southern Manitoba sporadically, near and even slightly above the freezing mark. Portage was +1 yesterday morning. Winnipeg was +1. In contrast, this morning we got Portage is currently at -13 and kind of steadily dropping. And Winnipeg is also a lot colder at -12, and we're seeing our temperatures continuing to drop. And we are going to be expecting temperatures to continue dropping throughout the day as some cooler air settles in from the north. You can see our wind barbs here pointing from out of the northwest generally across Manitoba, which is bringing in that cooler air sinking down south from the north, from northern Manitoba. We can also check out Brandon, -12. Melita is at -18, so very chilly across the southwest corner. And then we can look at Dauphin as well, -13. So similar temperatures across much of southern Manitoba, around -12, -13. As we track north towards the central part of Manitoba, Grand Rapids is currently -23 at the time of recording at 8:50 a.m. And the Paw is fairly chilly as well at the moment, -20, but their temperatures are rising as we speak. Up in Thompson this morning, it's pretty cool, -26. And then all the way up in Churchill, that northern part of the province, we got a temperature of close to -30 up across the far north. That's a little bit of our temperature picture on this January 10th. Now we'll look into some model data, and what we're going to be looking at here is a potential winter storm setting up for later in the day, Friday, and then going into kind of the first half of Saturday. And we're going to look at our high rapid refresh model here. This is our 12Z run. I did this, shot this video a little bit later this morning because I was just waiting for some of the new model runs to come in to really show us, what's going to be happening with this winter storm over, the next 24 to 36 hours. And so you can see here's our clipper system here forming, and fairly strong here across eastern portions of Saskatchewan on later in the night, Friday night, going into the early morning hours of Saturday. And you can see that it quickly kind of wants to track eastward into portions of Manitoba, the western and southwestern sections of the province. We've got a 996 millibar low. That's fairly strong-ish Alberta clipper, and it's already bringing a pretty good swath of snow into the southwest corner of the province by midnight Friday into Saturday. And then we can see that it just continues to kind of move eastward slowly and spread snow across the remainder of southern Manitoba going into Saturday morning. And then eventually through the day, the flurries keep going, light snow, and then we start seeing the winds back west really picking up, and then those strong winds will flood into southern and central portions of Manitoba going into Saturday night into the early morning hours of Sunday, which could cause quite a bit of blowing snow and some harsh travel conditions going into, again, Saturday night into Sunday morning. And then our low pressure system exits Manitoba into northwestern Ontario and into the States by Sunday morning, and we're just left with some gusty winds on the back end and some cooler temperatures going into the day Sunday. Our snowfall totals according to the high rapid model here, and it's showing fairly pretty much the same that it has been over the last day or so. It looks like a pretty good swath of snow across generally much of southern Manitoba. We see 14 centimeters maybe for Brandon, 12 for Portage. Winnipeg's in at 13. Morden-Winkler down here, 10 to 14 centimeters of snow. So generally, I think a snowfall is possible of about 10 centimeters. There will be locally some higher totals where maybe there's going to be some banding of snow, some heavier bands. Maybe the system will stall over a certain area more than a different area of the province. But generally, I think we're looking at about 10 centimeters across southern Manitoba, beginning Friday night, overnight into early Saturday morning from west to east. Winnipeg probably won't start seeing snow until Saturday morning, maybe 6, 7 a.m. But once you do get the snow, it should stick around most of the day. Light to moderate snow, maybe heavy at times, but more of a moderate snow, tapering off to snow flurries Saturday night. And then our winds pick up Saturday night as well, which will blow all that snow around. So another model we can look at here is our NAM 3-kilometer model run, another high resolution model that we look at in terms of the next day or a couple days out when we're looking at what could be happening and coming our way. And you can see that with the NAM 3-kilometer run, it's going to be looking a little bit stronger than the high rapid refresh was looking. You can see that again we have the first bands of snow moving into western portions of the province late Friday evening, going toward midnight, and then continuing on and starting to spread further east into the entirety of southern Manitoba by the early morning hours of Saturday. And you can see that it's still got the similar strength of low pressure system, a 999 millibar low. So I mean, when we're 999, we're floating around 1,000 millibars. Normal pressure is about 1,010. So we're not the lowest of low pressure systems. When you have a category 4 or 5 hurricane, you're looking at 920 millibar low. Dipping down toward the 900 millibar. This is still almost 1,000 millibars. It's not that strong of a low pressure system, but it's strong enough to bring, again, a decent amount of snow to southern Manitoba to start off our weekend. And you can see that the low pressure center slides stateside, but then we're on the north side of that system. And when you have these winter storm systems, normally the majority of snow is going to be falling on the northwest portion of the low pressure center. You can see throughout the day Saturday, this is about 12 noon Saturday. You can see just generally a light to moderate snow across the entirety of southern Manitoba. And then going into Saturday evening, this is around the time the sun would be starting to set Saturday evening. Still some snow falling, and then eventually tapering off midnight toward 3 a.m. Sunday morning. And then you can see these tighter isobars behind, which will be causing some blowing snow on the highways and road surfaces late Saturday night into Sunday morning. And we can look at what the NAM 3-kilometer is thinking for snow totals with this system. And we can see that by sunrise tomorrow morning across western Manitoba, there could already be 5, 6, 7 centimeters of snow on the ground. Not as much for Winnipeg yet, maybe a centimeter or 2 by sunrise tomorrow morning. But then the snow continues to kind of fill in and continue to fall throughout the day. And then this is looking at Sunday morning. By the time we start waking up between 8 and 10 a.m., snow is pretty much done. And you can see here are our totals. We got maybe 20 centimeters for Dauphin, 14 Brandon, 12 in Portage, 11 in Winnipeg and across the Red River Valley. And that's actually our 0Z run. So let's go to the latest run and see how that looks compared to the run last night. And you can see that, so the snow totals have changed a little bit. It's not as showing as much snow for the Dauphin area, maybe 10 centimeters. Brandon saying similar, 10 centimeters. Portage 8, Winnipeg 9. Maybe a little bit of a heavier band here across the far southwest corner of Manitoba, 15 to 18 centimeters. But like I said, it's going to be hard to really pinpoint where there may be 15 to 20 centimeters of snow. That's your higher totals. When you have a storm system, there's going to be those areas that could have some higher totals, some enhancements. You're riding Mountain National Park, you can see Dauphin has 10, but you go into the park around Moon Lake, maybe there's 12, 13 centimeters there. So, different things can work to enhance our snow totals, but I think just a general 10 centimeters or 4 inches of snow is likely beginning Friday night, continuing through the day Saturday, widespread across southern Manitoba, with possibly some locally higher totals of maybe 15 centimeters. But I don't think we're going to see totals much higher than that 10 to 15 range. And then this is our RDPS model, the final model that I wanted to show you this morning. And you can see that, again, it's very similar to the NAM that we looked at, the high rapid refresh, where it's got our 998 millibar low going across southern and southeastern portions of Saskatchewan, and then dipping into the United States throughout Saturday, but it leaves southern Manitoba into some light to moderate snow throughout the day Saturday, which tapers off Saturday night. And then you still see that even the RDPS is showing these tighter isobars, which is some stronger winds and wind gusts Saturday night into Sunday morning, which will probably cause some travel issues. So that's something we're going to have to watch over the next 24 to 48 hours here as this storm system moves through. In terms of our snowfall amounts expected according to the RDPS model, again, very similar. I think by the time people start waking up tomorrow morning, Saturday morning, across the far west side of Manitoba, and this could even include areas up around Flin Flon and the Paw, 10 centimeters, down Swan River 7, 6 in Dauphin, 5 Brandon, maybe a little more west towards the Manitoba Saskatchewan border, Verdon, Oak Lake, Elkhorn. Then through the day, the snow totals do spill eastward and start piling up also through the Red River Valley. And we can see that by the time we get into Sunday, about 10 centimeters in general across the entirety of southern Manitoba. So I'm thinking 10 centimeters is a good bet widespread across southern Manitoba. I think another thing to watch is going to be, again, the winds Saturday night into Sunday morning. It's going to cause blowing snow, some travel issues, some icy roads, could be some snow-covered roads, and then just watch for our temperatures to dip and be pretty chilly into the early portion of next week. That's the update I have for you on this January 10th. Just stay safe out there. We'll know a lot more with our weather update tomorrow morning, Saturday morning. But just know that if you do have places to go on Saturday, that it could be a little bit tricky. But this is not really the storm system. I don't think that we're going to see maybe multiple highway closures, but it's going to be a system that's more of a nuisance that's going to cause some issues. But I'm not seeing it as a widespread major shutdown highway kind of storm system. It's going to just bring some fresh powder to southern Manitoba for all you skiers or snowmobilers, or if you just love shoveling snow or like seeing fresh snow. That's what it's going to bring this weekend. But I don't see it as a major shutdown snowstorm by any means, but it still could cause some travel issues. So that's the update. Have a great day, everybody.